lockdown.
Lockdown and you're so happy?
Yeah, it was my first day where I stayed at home, didn't go to the office.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You were going to the office all the time?
yeah, I bet because I work in healthcare, so it's quite a busy time for us. So
Oh, I see.
so this is the first day where I've actually managed to stay put in one place.
Ah, so
Can I,
what do you
what
do
kind,
in the healthcare?
me too. Can I
Uh,
ask what kind of healthcare?
yeah, well, uh, I work for a like an HMO. It's a private healthcare company that provides um, care to members. But I actually work in public health. I work in the charity section of the business we established, and I actually work uh, um, in helping families who are pre-diabetic to change their lifestyles and live a healthy life. So
Oh,
I've
they
been
need the happy body, come on. You just send them right there and then, oh.
exactly. So this is a
Great,
sweet
that's
spot.
great.
So I've been doing this for 10 years, and I do it in Poland and in Romania. And these are two countries in Europe that have the highest prevalence of and growth in obesity in Europe. And it's quite alarming how it's going. And I have quite a lot of 12-year-olds, because I work with 8 to 12-year-olds who have already elevated blood pressure at that age, and 65% of the kids have very poor health, physical condition. They can hardly get up the stairs to the 4th floor of a
Oh,
step. So we do step tests and all sorts of things like that, and
my
then
goodness.
then I coach them for 2 years with 4 specialists: a doctor, dietitian, a PT instructor, and a psychologist. And this lasts for 2 years. So it's quite a big program, and I've so far reached 50,000 families in the work that I've been doing. But it's a big thing. So I've got 200 specialists who I work with to deliver this. And so we work with local governments. And now in Gdańsk, I'm actually working on a program to screen adults within the working age who have elevated or are at risk of developing diabetes. So we just before the virus exploded, we started doing a big screening of the population through first a survey, and then through testing blood sugar levels, and then getting into the sort of intervention part. So, but nothing is as advanced or as complex as the Happy Body. Absolutely no way. Although we have a very sort of complex approach, but it's no way as integrated as the Happy Body. There's nothing like this in the world, I don't think. And the results we're getting, we've benchmarked our program against 200 different programs in the world, and we're in the top 5 as far as lifestyle changes are concerned. But it's nothing to what Jerzy developed. It's fantastic. So I'm just, I'm at ground zero, starting from zero.
Oh, I'm so curious. I'm so curious why Poland and Romania, do they have really bad diets or what?
Well, when you get a lot of good stuff coming in from the West, you also get a lot of bad stuff. So we get inspired by the shiny things, and with the shiny things comes the consumption, and also the consumption of bad things, food, films, media, all the stuff that can lead you astray.
I'm just so sorry because at least in my profession, which is classical music, these people really hold to a certain standard and they don't give in to the Western. And I'm really shocked that they're like eating badly or not moving badly, because in classical music, they hold to their own standards and it's rather impressive. My goodness, I'm so disappointed to hear that. I'm
Well,
disappointed to hear that.
yeah, you know, but the thing is, it's the power, you know, in the workshops that we run when we bring these families on board. We spend half a day. Probably it's a little bit like I got this and virtues that Jerzy does. But we talk about the power of media and advertising and the lobbies and you know, the availability of stuff. We just don't. If we really are not educated, we don't stand a chance in really changing the way we are, because there are so many. A lot of things are stacked against us, and there are so many highly educated people who spend their life and huge budgets on trying to get into our brain. And actually, to be a good parent, you have to say no to your child 8 or 9 times out of 10. And that automatically strains your relationship within
Look
the
at Olivia.
family. And so
Look at Olivia. She's going like thumbs up, thumbs up.
It's really tough. And you know, you have to know what you're up against. And so I've lost my train of thought, so I don't know whether I answered the question or not. But
it's amazing thing what you said about this, what you are against. I will, you know, share the story here about cinnamon bun in America. So this woman created cinnamon bun, but before she created it, she wanted to create something great, right? So she hired best artists, she hired best chemists, she hired best entrepreneurs, and you know, and she was able to develop the product that was very craveable and irresistible. The product that really appealed to us from all 5 senses. We really like how it looked, how it smelled, how it crunched when we ate it, and how we swallowed, and how it moved through our esophagus. Everything was thought through. So that's what you say. What you're against really incredible people. They are really masters at work, and they actually create these products. That is why my view on top of it, that the only solution here is that you become the master and has very strong virtues. So when you have it, that you can be above all of it, and you can walk everywhere, wherever you are, and you have this strength, the resistance that you can override all the impulses. And that is really the purpose of our choices. And really, without this capability, without developing that master that really knows and feels and so on, it's impossible to do it. I will read you actually the poem about that. That's very interesting poem, and it is titled "It Feels You." Let me find this poem.
It feels you, F-E-E-L-S.
Yeah, it feels you.
Okay, thank you.
Where is this poem?
Marcin, I'm curious. Is your program government supported or is it private?
No, it's private. It comes. It's privately funded from a private source. Yeah, but I've been doing it it's really expensive. I mean, it's a big one. So, but I don't want to take Yezha's time up. So maybe we can, during the tea break, I can tell you a bit about it.
Sounds good, thanks.
Let me read you this poem that it's about the becoming the whether I had this line that immutable, that you are immutable to the outside world. You are such a master that you know exactly what you want, you act on it, and you are, resistant to, any wrong impulses. In order to create that person, that's what we are going through. I think that we need to spend 2 years here in order to create that mind that becomes that mind. And I know that there is impossible to make it happen mentally. It has to be rich through, poetry and philosophy, very deep into what we are, in order to shift and develop a certain way of being. So here's the poem. It feels you. A Safeway cashier pulled out a 2-liter bottle of diet soda and put it in front of the apples. I looked at it and said, I didn't buy this. She smiled and said, it's okay, it's free. I'm sorry, I said, but I don't want it. She smiled more sweetly and said, but it's free. You can have it. The truth is, I said, I wouldn't drink it, even if I was paid to. She stopped laughing and said, you must be an immigrant. No, I'm a true American, I told her. A true American? She smiled. Yes, I said. Hard to change from outside. She took the bottle away and said, I don't even remember how that feels. That's right. It feels you. So you see, for me, a true American is that one that knows how to live life, that one that is immune, that's from outside the world. That's how I imagine America, and that's what the American power was for me. And it looks like this energy that the American master of individual master that is really powerful and knows somehow is it'll diminish over time. And I see that the only way of return is actually building something that that is attracted to no complaining. And when we are having this power that tries to corrupt us, that power is very powerful. So it is really hard to deal with it. That's why I wrote poetry. That's why I wrote dialogues. That's why I wrote virtues. All of it is actually created to deal with that power without addressing the power. So the only ways to come out of it is that you are building you that knows exactly what is it. That's why I like to call the Happy Body diet as a knowing diet, because once you know, for me, it's like American way. The French way is to eat slowly, right? But the Japanese way would be to have 80% full, so sensitivity. But I thought about Americans like, they are powerful, they are fast, and all this energy is really go. And for me, the Happy Body is this American diet, the knowing diet. You know how much you can swallow and move on, right? So in order to really happen in these conditions, American conditions, that, I thought that that would be the way, that knowing diet would be the thing. But, to develop also that power behind the message that we want to convey, is you have to become one. So the story is here about, you see, like we switch constantly through many areas, and we have to switch. We have to have a plan. We have to have the strong think that we know what to do, the plan. And then we are building the strength. We are building the virtues and self-control to actually make it happen. When the whole system tries to interfere with that and take it away from us, corrupt us, right? So the story here that I want to go to Gandhi, and actually it works here, the story, because it's about sugar. So a mother came with her son to Gandhi and asked Gandhi to tell the son to stop eating sugar. And Gandhi looked at her and said, "Come in 2 months." And she said, "You cannot tell my son now." And he said, "No, you have to come in 2 months." So she came in 2 months and then asked Gandhi, "Can you tell my son to stop eating sugar?" And Gandhi said, "Sure." He looked at the son and he said, "Stop eating sugar. Now you can go," he told the mother. And the mother said, "Why you didn't tell, my son 2 months ago? It's very simple." And he said, 2 months ago, I was eating sugar.
Mm.
So you see, you will never have power when you talk about something what you are not. The meaning of it is very clear. In order to pass the meaning, the power of what you are saying, you have to be that. Because otherwise, it's like you would smoke cigarettes, but you tell somebody not to smoke.
Okay, so that's called walk the walk.
Well, that's also virtue, right? Because virtue, the walk is the virtue, right? So that's why, and it's a hard choice, right?
Okay, so I just want to, Jersey, it's Eliane, and I'm in Paris. I just wanted to know, when you mean virtue, can you please?
It's a certain.
I want you to define that. Yeah, please, thank you.
Virtue is a certain goodness that is integrity of that what we do. So anything in life that is a good thing for you or for anybody, and anything that has high integrity is a virtue. The virtue is to do the happy body. Why? Because the happy body is a good thing for people, and that is the virtue. And the virtue always comes with this hard choice, because it's always a hard choice to become better. It's easy to become worse. It's easy to destroy things. It's really hard to build. It's easy to poison somebody. It's hard to heal. So it's all aligned with the goodness and the hard choices as a way of living. But without the virtues, we just cannot build the strength against what we are against, really. So, I was in Poland in, I think, around 2000, right? So 89 is shift. 89, Poland is poor, and there is no obesity. There is no such thing as people fat and so on. They are not there, right? So in 2000, I am in 2000, and then we are at the beach, and I am with my friend, and he says, "Do you see any difference here?" I said, "No." And he said, "Well, when you look at these boys coming, there were 4 boys walking at the beach. Do you see any difference?" And I looked at them and I said, "Well, when you put it that way, I see it." So the 3 of them, they were overweight, and one was morbidly overweight. I've never seen in Poland, a person like that, first of all. So the message from this is very simple. You cannot learn anything from poor people. You have to learn from rich people that learn to control themselves. So you have to be in abundance, learn how to control that, and then you can pass the message to others. But if you are poor and you are really restricted, well, your message is not there and your power is not there yet. So there is a definitely collapse of the meaning in Poland. Poland goes from 89 to forward, and then Poland loses the meaning when it comes to the simplicity of life, is attracted to shiny things, like Martin said, or people earn more money, and they kind of associate earning money with happiness, which is a normal thing for mentally poor people. And then because of that, they overeat, and they will just associate getting rich with happiness. And that's where we simply can get really lost. And we get lost also in the place where we are not developing the virtues of the family, but we are prone to thinking that eating more or having great dinners and so on, this is the happiness. And that is a trap. This is a definitely trap in life.
So it's more money, and that's shiny things, and that's also more food.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
eating badly. I mean, it's terrible. If that's a terrible shiny thing.
But it's a normal thing. Everyone in life goes through it, and every society goes through it, and there is no way to prevent yourself from it unless you are around people like, let's say, the Happy Body. Yeah, they talk about self-control, virtues, that having good things is a good thing, but we need to learn how to control it, because too much a good thing is not good either. So there are also a lot of parallel stories with money. When people get money too fast and they cannot control it, they develop certain habits that really kills them. So we have a lot of actors, actresses, athletes that suddenly they become rich. But if you are rich and you are not able to control the money will simply destroy you, because you will be attracted to certain habits that those habits will take you down. So when money comes slower and the mind can control it, and that is a really good thing. And also for those that acquire the money very fast and have that mind ready for it, they are also able to do that. But it's a mind that is unable to control goodness. When it comes to, it's a goodness that to have more money. It's a goodness to to have more freedom and so on because of that. But if it's not controlled, then it destroys us.
If I can just, my observation is that if you have too many distractions or there's too many things going on, you can lose the focus in what you want to achieve, or especially in sort of living a healthy lifestyle in families. One wants all sort of material things. People are often distracted and have the aspirations are too big. You can't eat all the food on the buffet, and that's how people go about their life. Not just about eating, but they want too much, and that leads to distraction and living a life that's driven from the outside rather than from the inside. So, and that's the sort of observation of what's happening in Poland. Just a comment.
But it's abundance. You see, in Poland when I was, there was no abundance, and
Yeah.
it was we were poor and we didn't have enough simply. So we didn't have to learn to control that. When I came to US and I went to a store and I saw vodka, bottles of vodka, right? And hundreds of bottles, different vodkas and so on, and $10. And I just thought, wow, $10, you can drink yourself to death, very fast here. That was my, insight. Wherever you could go in America, you could just completely eat yourself to death easily because you have a lot of more than really than you need, right? So the only way in abundance is a great thing, but abundance has to be controlled and learned to control, and we have really big problem with that. And that's why I approached the Happy Body from that perspective, that developed the whole philosophy behind that, to help people to develop that strength to override the impulses and to appropriate them around the standards that we know. And those standards had to be provided, and then I created those standards. And then I created the plan. Now you can see how that whole thing can be very frustrating, irritating to people. And that is why we have the hard choices and we have the whole philosophy built in to deal with these challenges.
I just want to add, and there's that paradox of choice when you talk about being faced with choices. Here, it's considered the American way, right? To have more choices. You go to a grocery store, like you said, with the vodkas, there's like 50 different types of cereals because you're paying with your time and your attention, not just your money, because you're bombarded with ads, you're bombarded with all the merchandising and 60 different cereal boxes when all you just need is something simple and nutritious.
But it's a beautiful thing. You see, America is really this capitalistic system that provides these thousands of choices. And it's a really beautiful thing because in this, you can find the one that you really like and stay with the one. It's just only, you have to become the master of your taste, the master of what you like. And then from that place, you make a decision. So you have to be connected to the feelings, to the poetry, of your inside, to the deep philosophy, what is good, and you will not budge from there. So let's say I have this, somebody told me about this chocolate vodka. Okay, that's the example. Chocolate vodka, Van Gogh chocolate vodka. I tasted it once, so good, right? Well, I only drink that chocolate vodka for 10 years, right? 25 years ago, somebody told me about tea. There's a French tea, Paris Mirage tea. That's what the Happy Body people all drink, yeah? But, the person brought that tea, right? And to my place about 25 years ago in Los Angeles, where I lived there. And I really liked the tea. So I started drinking the tea. Everybody drank the tea. Everybody who was coming to our place drank the tea. And then I drink that tea today. I call Texas, where the distribution is, and I talk to Phil, and Phil says, Jersey, you ready for another 4 pounds? Yeah, and it's coming from France, from Paris Mirage, and it's called Marco Polo. My clients go to France, right, and go to that place, and they talk about me there, all right, the Happy Body, and buy that tea and bring it here. Now you see the difference? In spite of millions of different teas, in spite of, all the different vodkas and so on, develop the one. There is a monopoly over vodka. There is $10 in traders. I know it's a good vodka. I always, buy that vodka. $10, the big bottle. I'm happy because of it. You see, you have to develop the master. I do the happy body, right? The happy body. Not all the garbage that is there for thousands and thousands of these workouts and so on, right? The happy body. So that's kind of a mastery you have to embrace in yourself to really to become that, to love it, to enjoy it, to be so simple, right? But never complain that there is thousands of battles and we are lost there. That is the wrong way to do. The right way is to really enjoy America, enjoy the abundance, and find your thing and love that thing. That is the message, really, to become that kind of a master and a human being. To complain is a wrong thing, and how to come out of it is that's why I am in so much in Stoicism and that kind of a philosophy, because that philosophy really helps to self-control yourself and never complain about the world, because complain will take you right away in a wrong. That complaint is not a virtue. That's what I would say. Elaine asked me, what's the virtue? Here it is. Blaming others is not complaint. So you can complain about the sugar. You complain about that is too much advertising about the sugar, right? And you can blame others that they produce too much sugar, and on and on and on, and you will never end. You will write the documentaries, and I saw so many documentaries about complaining and blaming, factories and things and so on. This is completely powerless. What is powerful is what we do here. That is powerful. If you build a person that is resistant to that, that knows what that person wants, and it's a good thing, that is a very powerful thing. But it's very hard. It's a hard choice because it takes years to develop that one. But that's okay. We live life, right? Like Stoics, lived life. They didn't tell somebody to become Stoic, in 7 days, right? They kept building this, and that's what I do. I keep building these people. I keep building these happy body people. There's another poem. You are a builder, and I will read it to you. Really, an interesting poem, because this is just hits me right now. So this is about my Anila right here. Remember, you are a builder. Two friends were passing a bank when one of them said, "Some people build banks while others rob them. Which are you?" I like to think of myself as a builder, but often I think about robbing one. What about you? I'm just a builder. No desire to rob a bank then? No, but I used to have them until I met my wife, who asked me, "What kind of a man are you? Do you wait to work until your children are hungry?" That's what she asked. Yes. How did you answer? "I need help." Did you get it? Time passed, but every morning, just before I left the house, she kissed me, gave me the snack she made, and said, "Remember, you are a builder." See how beautiful it is? It's the time, it's the goodness, it's the making the food, is a wife that, helps the husband to become a, good person, a builder, right? The one that will not think about robbing one. These are all metaphors, of course, right? These are metaphors that go into life. It is about the person, let's say, who wants to eat more, right? And then how you can build that one. On a daily basis, you present yourself, the goodness how you are, and you present how you control yourself, how graceful you are with that, and that spreads, and that spreads everywhere else. Goodness is contagious, but it needs to be really embraced, become, and then projected outside. You don't have to really project that. That's why, like Gandhi eating sugar, he ate sugar, but he wanted to help the boy, so he stopped it. And then when he talked to the son, he talked from the perspective of the one that struggled to stop eating sugar. What a beautiful story, right? And a man, how devoted the man is, right? To actually be honest with, and to reach to the power of the inside, and not to compromise here just the talk that is shallow. And that's why we have Gandhi, right? Like we have Jerzy Popiełuszko, right? We have, Kennedy, and then we have Dyer, and we have Thich Nhat Hanh, right? And we have Dyer, and all these people that just Mandela, right? All these people that they are our energy. That's where we always can go to get the energy. And that book that you're reading, I Got This, was written with that purpose, to create that energy. So keep reading this, because that's really the book to really keep reading on a daily basis. So you have to, we have to somehow build the better you, right? So that's how it is, you see. The hard choices is life. You never know where you go with this. And every session is so important. I have clients that they were coming here for 5 years, and the sessions were always going somewhere like that, like today. And without those sessions, we just simply cannot build better ourselves.
I just wanted to comment also that I think the world also tries to offer people the illusion that you can fix things really quickly, or the solution is in the medication or in a pill, and that you don't have to put in the effort or have the single-minded focus to achieve things. Everything is really quick. It's like you were saying the other day, all these magazines or Men's Health or whatever.
Quick fix in America. Quick fix. It's horrible. Yeah.
But the quick fix is also very good, right? When it's actually quick fix is needed, right? You have emergency, right? And people come to emergency. They have accidents and things, and it has to be really quick solutions, quick fixes, and so on. It has to happen, right? So there are certain antibiotics, how they work, and we need to really do something, and it has to be fast. So we can just come out in our brain and to judge quick fix, because a quick fix is really sometimes a great solution. We have to, on a basis of a situation judge that, but not really on, in the long term. So long term, of course, depending on the medicine is not really a good thing. But when you find a medical doctor, that is your really a tool. A medicine is your tool, and then a knife is your tool. That's really two tools. So when you go to a doctor, you should be intelligent enough, not to complain that doctors give pills, because doctors give pills because that's what the tools are. And then when we are outside of the medicine, like the Happy Body is the system developed to live life outside of the medical system, right? So when you become the Happy Body, you kind of try to get away from pills, because that you need to control yourself. So you can work with your doctor to slowly get out of the pills. Of course, is that going out of the pills, it will be something not needing the doctor, but that should be a good thing to the doctor, right? It's a very complex idea of living life, but the most important, I think, is not to come out with these ideas that pills are not good. Pills are sometimes very good. You have coronavirus, and we are working on vaccination, right? So the pills will come, and the pill will save a lot of lives. So so we get sometimes stuck in how we talk about different things. So you have to develop also appreciation for pills as well, and not to develop this complaint or about that, because it's a wrong thing to do that. So the doctor is something that also we are asking the doctor today of being somebody else, right? Somebody that it's this village doctor, right? But the doctor is never going to become that doctor. So who do we have today? We have today a doctor that is not a village doctor. So you have to know whether you want medicine or not today, whether you want something to do or not. And that's what you need to communicate to the doctor, that you want something or you don't want. And you have to be responsible for it, like you're responsible for eating too much, or responsible of doing wrong exercise, or responsible for examining your life. Like Socrates said, unexamined life is not worth of living. Well, yeah, of course. But then, okay, what do we do? You really have to examine your life in a way to deepen that who you are, what you are, where you are, and what you like, what you don't like, what is good and what is not, what is virtue, what is not. And that is why you can see how complex that thing can become. Why some of us simply good people, and it's a very difficult thing to do, because the system works on you not to be. The system works on you to be a consumer, and consumer is not somebody that limits himself or herself and controls himself. That the consumer is consuming, and consumer comes from the word consuming, and consuming is like destroying. The word destroy is a consumer, and consuming is like a fire. Consuming something is consumed by fire. So it just says that the word that consumer is consumer is a destroyer of food, right? You get the food, and well, of course, because of that, you live life. So that the situation with the food and here knowing who you are is extremely important, and raise above of all the corruptions capabilities of the system. And that is the purpose of the happy body. Yeah, to raise yourself, you know what is good, but it's not only good, the happy body is excellence. So you can build that excellence. Why would you be attracted to excellence? Well, because excellence is worth of fighting for. And that's what we are fighting for. We are not fighting for just good. We are fighting for excellence. And people can stand up and fight for it. That's why it's built, to be excellence and not just, good or average. And who wants to be average? Nobody wants to be average, right? So there must be certain plans, certain thing that is capable of building a better you over time. And then you can bear anyhow. If that goal is amazing and the plan is hard, you can bear.
Can I go back a couple of steps?
All right.
If I may. You mentioned that people like Kennedy, Mandela, Gandhi, and numerous others, sorry, where I wonder where I think I'm getting cut off here.
Somebody needs to mute. Everybody mute except for Dick.
Thank you, Eliane. I'll try again. So I wonder where those inspirational people are in our lives. I'm old enough to remember a number of them, but I'm wondering if today they are folks like movie stars and sports stars that, particularly here in North America and around the world in developed countries, I guess more, that's what the younger generations see as their heroes, or those to look up to, their inspiration. So care to comment, anybody, or Jerzy?
Well, you think about really mentors, right? So the mentors are also can help you on a journey to become a better person. And I had a lot of mentors. I had mentors that didn't hire, like Jerzy Popiełuszko was my mentor, because it was such a extreme goodness around me that I was affected by it. But there are other mentors that I really hired in life, like Thich Nhat Hanh, who ordained me as a Buddhist in Los Angeles, and Wayne Dyer, that I met, and I loved all his books, and I read his books and devoured the books. But Thich Nhat Hanh was the one that his writing was so beautiful, and words, were like I don't know, like the best food you could eat, right? It's just like something so like poetry, right? There's just this constant beautiful words and its purpose and its goodness, all of it aligned. You can buy 50 or 100 books that he wrote, and every one will have the string of goodness, virtue in them. This man, devoted his whole life to goodness, and it's so beautiful and so powerful. And Wayne Dyer is another one that also, through his books, you can receive, virtues, you can receive goodness, you can receive inspiration, motivation to do what is right in life, even though it's a hard choice. We have another one, right? And then you can hire people. Like I work with Bob Klein in Los Angeles, who helped me. He's still around and he does seminars, but I was going to his office, for 2 years every week. And it was extremely great help, So it's another mentor, right? I did transcendental meditation for 30 years, 32 years now. And I simply, meditate on a daily basis. And it helped me and Anila extremely, right? So, there are so many ways that you need to practice, but it is not about really so much about those that are there in a way that you cannot interact, yeah? Because those that they are there that you can completely not interact, they don't have the power of helping you really much. Let's say Phelps was this is the symbol of this self-discipline, and when he was asked when he missed the workout, he didn't even remember. Like I don't remember when I didn't do a day that I didn't do the workout. I just don't remember that. And Socrates was, loved by the self-discipline. People were so drawn to him because he was so a man of self-discipline. Well, here is the man that tells us, eat to live and not live to eat, right? And these words are so powerful and repeated over by people, but without any really power at all. That's why the virtues cannot be the virtues that you just repeat, because they don't have power. But if you want to get that power, you have to get into what is it to live, and to get that deeper and deeper with pain, with tears, with sobbing and laughter and happiness and so on. And that's the only way to become, to first to make that proverb, you, and then live by it. You have to develop certain sensitivities and certain really disliking of living to eat, and seeing that as something very disgusting and very sad, very, powerless, disgusting, and so on, right? And, if you develop that, then you connect to, what is it? Eat to live, right? And then when you eat to live, you simply, they say, oh, the happy body says ideal body weight here. All right. So how I can it eat to live? Well, very simple, right? Then you know how much to eat to live that ideal body weight. And when you eat too much, then you don't eat to live anymore. You live to it. You plunge yourself in that gluttony, and you plunge yourself into this you that is wasting yourself. It's a waste of not only, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of a life, it's a waste of human goodness in the brain. It's really big waste.
One of the things that I got out of the chapter, the renewal chapter, was how when you change, where you end up isn't necessarily where you thought you were going to be. And you're talking about, eating to live and how that's the right mindset, but you might think that you know what that's going to feel like when you get there, but it's probably not really going to be that way. You're going to be a different person when you get there than you were when you started.
Well, that's the whole, message, right? That when you come from 160 pounds to 120, you have to become a different human being to sustain 120, because you have to really life 120, you have to love 120, you have to live by 120, and on and on and on. And that's the whole existentialism. That's the whole philosophy of life. And you have to arrive there. If you don't arrive there, you will be dragged by 160 pounds of way of living, and it will drag you back. I have to become a different person. But that's the whole thing, that if you follow goodness in life, that is worth for fighting for that you in the future. You don't know what's going to be, but you will become a better person. That should be good enough to fight for. How it will feel? It feels you, like in the poem. Right? When you arrive there, you will feel it. And you will feel how it is, that person that says, I don't want this. Yeah, but it's free. You can have it. But I don't want this. Even if you pay me, I will not drink this. That's done, right? That's it. You cannot corrupt the person like that. You cannot corrupt the person like that, no matter what you're going to present there and how much you're going to present it. You know, it's not going to happen. That person knows what is great and only follows that. There's a message very clear in the poem. I want apples, and that's it. I'm done with it, right? Apples represent really the symbol of produce. Apples versus product. And it doesn't matter, you know, how the system is strong. When you are this kind of a master, nothing can corrupt you. Nothing. And that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful person. And that's supposed to be American. And that's what we are fighting for.
You know, along those lines, friends ask, well, what are you doing for a workout? Are you going to the gym or whatever? And I say, well, I'm doing a program called The Happy Body. And I was thinking about it yesterday when we were chatting, and it's obvious, but you don't do the happy body. You become the happy body. You are the happy body. And I'm trying to figure out a way to tell people that ask about, well, what are you doing for exercise and so forth.
Don't say that. They'll think you're a nut.
Yeah.
I am the happy body. It's like weird. Don't say that.
Well, like I say, I'm trying to figure out a way to say that. And
you know, you can say that I like to keep my body happy. So I found this program called The Happy Body. And
That's
it looks
a good
like it keeps my body happy. So I'm doing it.
right.
Simply, right?
Yeah,
That's
very
good.
nice.
That's
Very
good
nice.
enough.
Good enough, right? It's well, I like to keep my body happy. And then I look for the program that would do that. And I found it, The Happy Body. And that's what I practice. And I would practice this to the end of my life, because
Right.
I'm getting happier and then my body gets happier. Wow, that's really amazing. That's it. Simple, right?
Very, yeah.
All right, guys. Wow, what a day. Nice day, good day. Martin, thank you. That was good. Well,
Awesome.
the comment that I have is that maybe we can develop some kind of happy body, the simple form of the happy body in that purpose, with helping people with this problem, so it's not complex. So let me know if you want to talk about that, so we can talk about it.
Okay,
And
absolutely.
I didn't quite understand what you just said. Jersey, can you repeat? I didn't understand.
I was talking to Martin about adapting the happy body to that, because it's a complex system. Adapting the happy body to people that have these problems with diabetes and
Oh, that's great.
and obesity and so on, and how to make it, how to simplify that, at least so people, it could be an enter point to people like that, so they would not be overwhelmed by the complexity of the program.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I'll sign up for the simple part.
Right. I had this I had this psychologist that I coach in LA, and then she said, you know what, if I go home, I will never do it, and then I need something that I can do between my patients that will help me to release a patient and go to another one. And she worked with mostly the suicidal cases. And I created for her this only one sequence and from different exercises. And then she would do this sequence that would take her 5 minutes. So, and then that would not require anything to prepare yourself, and not require, we would not sweat and things and so on. So, and she did this one sequence and would take 5 minutes between her patients. And then at the end of the day, so it would be 5 minutes, then she would go wash her hands and so on. And it was very helpful for her. She said that it really is working. It takes me away from one patient and then gets me into the movements, and I lose, that energy, and then I'm ready for another one. And she had this 15 minutes break between, and it was working. So for people that are on an hourly basis, that's just a really great thing would be to do.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we'll give you the time for chat. You can chat, and I will go and get myself some tea.
I want to get some chocolate vodka.
That's good.
Sorry. We don't have chocolate vodka in Paris.
I want to know what you drink it with. Like, what do you just
I
drink?
think it's like dessert, right? Yeah, it's probably just completely dessert.
Is it like
Ice.
Bailey?
You don't drink it. You put it on your lips, and it just infuses yourself with the sense of chocolate.
Are you
And it's much
serious?
less calories than chocolate.
Just on your lips? That's amazing.
I'm not a big drinker. I prefer red wine.
Martin, I'm really curious what you were talking about. I sort of was about 5 minutes late, and I missed the beginning of all this. Can you do a little recap for me?
Yeah, I don't want to bore everyone else, but I'll just try and give you the really short version. I run a corporate charity that focuses, apart from all sorts of charitable programs, we've also realized that where I live in Poland, and I also work in Romania, there's a really, really strong need for diabetes prevention programs, because the population is exponentially getting sick with lifestyle-based diseases. So it all starts with obesity. Once you get obese, then it's a very short journey to becoming diabetic or having all sorts of other problems. And so we've chosen a difficult age group, which are the sort of the teenagers who are in the sort of early stages of rebellion, and who start not talking to their parents and trying to do everything in an opposite way. But we've realized that actually this is the opportunity to engage with these kids and actually show them something that their parents aren't embracing and teaching them to do. So essentially we find kids through a screening program who are already showing that they're very overweight or obese. And we then, through an intervention program, work with them for 2 years to change their lifestyle and habits, to actually turn things around from having a life that can be very difficult, because obesity and diabetes can then lead into depression, low self-esteem. You become introverted, etc., etc. So it's a slippery slope down the wrong way. So we then work with them with 4 specialists: a doctor, a dietitian, a PT instructor, and a psychologist. And we work with them for 2 years, meeting regularly, and actually not telling them specifically what to do, but we just teach them a different way. And this is through individual meetings, as well as certain basic stuff that we can then provide through workshops, which is basically what is advertising, what is marketing, what you're against. We bring in parents, we bring in the wider family, aunts and uncles and grandparents, and actually teach them and educate them so they don't sabotage the families who then trying to make changes in their lives. And then we teach parents how to, we teach schools how to set up a healthy school and an environment. It's called HEPS, Health, Education and Physical Activity in Schools. And then we certify the schools. We also teach the shops that sell goods in schools how to then flip their offering to being more healthy. We teach the catering staff how to cook in a healthy way. We certify the teachers with additional points that they can get by. So we try and capture the whole environment, and then we set up parents clubs where parents can then talk about problems that they have in raising kids. And then we also teach parents about the value of integrating the family and making sure that you have meals together and you have time to talk. And food isn't just about consumption, but it's a place where you meet together and you discuss your life. And it's not about everyone fending for themselves and going to the refrigerator and taking their own food and consuming whatever is at hand.
I'm just so curious, how do you gain their trust? Because that's very involved. You're talking about a whole family and a whole structure.
Yeah, it's difficult.
How do you gain trust?
So all these things that I'm talking about, this is simple. The difficult stuff is actually in engagement and recruitment and retention and keeping the dropout, the levels of dropout, because of the further you're into the course, some people think that they already know the stuff and that they're okay on their own, and then they drop out. Or you've got kids who are resistant and don't want to join. So this is the secret sauce, and it's really difficult. But we try and standardize things as much as possible. So if our staff rotate, we have a software that allows continuity in a certain standard to be maintained, so that we don't lose it based on inspiration and charisma of certain people, so we can maintain the consistency. So yeah.
So before Jerzy introduced this idea that a quick fix can be a positive thing, like in the medical form, when you said it's a quick fix and you implied it was a negative thing, what were you talking about?
Yeah, I think we're all programmed that, buy this and it'll solve your problems. Eat this slimming pill and you're within a couple of weeks you'll be fine. Or go to the gym and within 2 months you'll you'll be ready for the beach. It's not about fixing the symptoms. It's fixing a sort of few levels down, or maybe not fixing. It's just changing or understanding or level of a certain awareness that's important. Whereas we're
Like
all
quick solutions then.
yeah,
Kind of quick solution. Yeah, okay. I didn't quite understand, and then he went on the thing, so I didn't know what you were talking. Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
I was just thinking that this is a worldwide epidemic. Even in India, the rates of diabetes are, it's a first world problem. So as the first world food industry moves across the planet, people are making the easy choices, and sometimes it's economic based because, we're talking about education and food security and that kind of thing. They don't always come together and provide people with, they can buy a big bag of pasta, but they can't buy the broccoli. Broccoli is too expensive.
Absolutely, Deborah. It's a really good point. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very good that you were able to have a focus group that you can target, but it's, it's worldwide. I mean, when we were in Cambodia, I talked to my guide and he said, oh, people in North America live a long time. I said, yeah, but for 25 or 30 years, they're sick. People aren't really sick here. They just work hard and are worn down, and they don't have enough food to sustain them beyond 50 odd years old. But in North America, we live a long time, but we're in the healthcare system for our last 30 years, and nobody's telling you to change what you're eating.
So Henry, I hope you're listening to this for your brother Benny. Sorry, Deborah. Henry, can you hear me? No, because really, he just had a diabetes seizure. And, okay, I'm just mentioning, thank you. I'm really valuable and important information from Deborah, and it's often economy based. That's what's really difficult.
Yeah. So if, for example, about 6 years ago, we actually went to California for a couple of weeks and we came home vegans and, had, watched Forks Over Knives, and we were really into it, and we've been plant-based ever since. But it's expensive.
It's much more expensive to eat well.
Because the food industry is into, they've got the milk marketing boards, you've got the wheat board, you've got the meat companies. So they're in trouble now during the pandemic in North America in any case. But, it's like if everybody started eating vegetables right now, we would be in trouble because they're just not producing them. Everything got switched over to certain commodities, and it's worldwide, including the fast food industries. I'm not sure what it's like in Poland though. Like how did this happen? And it's probably within a couple of decades.
Yeah, in Europe it's the same. In France it's the same. I don't know Poland. I'll let him.
Hey, can I jump in since I've been named?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jump in, Henry.
Okay, so as Jersey was, or as as Jersey was saying, we need to work in order to to get a happy body, we need to work on the mental part of it. And the mental part can include dissecting cultural implicit biases. In other words, we might be told that there's an implicit bias, the culture will set up an implicit bias for thin people, for instance. And then it'll say, drink this beverage to be thin, but the beverage will be full of high fructose corn syrups, which are going to make you fat. But they can sell that. So we need to be very careful to make choices, and I think that's what Jersey is cautioning us to do, which build on a healthy lifestyle. But the dominant culture wants us to consume in a way that reinforces, you might say, a class structure also, and that these implicit biases, which are reinforced by cookie cutter templates of false choices, these false choices lead to division and that reinforces the class structure. So we need to define what virtues are: a virtue of a healthy body, a body that's based on a diet which is good for the planet, good for our bodies, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, those choices, not sugary beverages and things like that. So anyway, now I'm beginning to talk too far. But again, I thought it was the idea of, I understand that by forgiving myself when I fail, I am pursuing happiness through making virtue of forgiveness. And by making forgiveness a core governing standard, or a hub around which our choices or our actions can evolve. And since it's easy to lose what the happiness, it's important to develop, to build. It's important to build a daily practice, a daily knowing practice. It's important, even necessary, to develop a daily positive practice of forgiving in order to achieve a core transformation and a stable, ongoing, happy body. In other words, we're not going to win it just by one day. Now I'm getting a rattle, but I've just got this final paragraph and I'm done with all this. It takes a long time to develop the mind in ways that supports and maintains a healthy identity or a happy body. And the energy and power of the dominant culture is great. This is Jersey's question. How do we challenge it and create a different lifestyle, but challenge it in ways that are not going to defeat us? Then I think the best thing is, as he says, make the hard choice of make the hard choice of good diet choices. Those that are not given to us on the false premise that if we make that choice, then we will somehow participate in the dominant culture. In other words, if I buy a product that looks like it's rich, I will be telling myself that I am a rich person, but I am not. I've just spent my money on this product and I'm poorer, and the product is not going to make me rich. In other words, it's not going to make me thin. So we need to be careful to dissect what messages the dominant culture is giving us in the food products that it's pre-prepared for us to consume. Okay, that's all I had to say.
Is that all? Wait,
You're very prolific.
Is that all? Wait, Henry, is that all? Thank you, Henry.
Well, that's beautiful. That's really, yeah, you said actually a lot what we really are concerned about and what we want, what we love. And that's true, is that in order to develop that mind is we need 3-5 years, and then if we don't have these 3-5 years, we cannot develop that mind, right? So it's like in the poem The Builder, yeah? So it's that becoming this builder is it takes time, and it always takes time to develop that master that knows. As I said, that knowing diet is the first step when you have it, and then you develop the knowing enough as another thing, that you know how much is, and what the choices you always make, that after the choices that you are aware of the choices, and then you make a decision, right? And then developing the human being that is virtuous is that the one that is going to know what is good and is going to act what is good, and there's no way that you can corrupt that one. So in this poem that I'm going to read you, that is that very clear distinction between these two different people. And the poem is Knowing. While looking at the billboard picture of a delicious burger with fries, John told his wife, "No wonder we get fat." That's why you think we get fat, Mary said, just because of beautiful pictures. It's not just a beautiful picture, John said. I salivate while I look at it. These food producers should be ashamed. Ashamed of what? John's mouth started to twitch. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Making our nation obese. Would you do anything differently if you were one of them? Of course, John burst out. I would help people not eat just enough, to eat just enough. So what would you be, a philanthropist? It's simply not human to make people eat more than they need. Is it human to blame? Yes, weakness is human. So do we become human because we are weak? John kept silent for more than a minute. Then how can we resist these masters of seduction? By knowing what is just enough. You see, there will be always billboards and there will be always abundance, because that's what the capitalism is. And it's a great thing. You have to look at that as a great thing. And there will be always people who want to sell more, and so on and so on. That is really, it shouldn't be of our concern at all. What we should be concerned about, our love, what we want to do, that is actually what we do is good. When I go to Bevmore and buy my chocolate vodka, I walk inside, I pick up the chocolate vodka and walk out. I don't see anything else. I don't care really whether something else is there or not. And that mind we need to develop when it comes about around the happy body. The happy body is chocolate vodka. You go and take the happy body, you do the happy body, and that's end of the world. You know, when it comes to the healthy food are very cheap. My saying is, if you are poor, you're destined to be healthy. While people that are obese are not really becoming because they are poor, right? So the food that is very healthy is actually very cheap. When you eat only beans and rice and you know, a little bit veggies and potatoes, you will spend very, very little money. So there was a doctor, I forgot his name, he went to Hawaii in 1960, and he's still helping people with with obesity and all these problems. So he went to maybe 70s. He went 70s, yeah. He went to Hawaii and he worked with as a doctor, and he said all people who were poor were very healthy. All people who were rich were very unhealthy. It was very clear distinction. And then he said, and then poor people ate all the potatoes and rice and beans and some veggies, a little bit fruit. That's what they ate. They ate really healthy, very good food. So he said, 25 years after, when these poor people got the idea that they can buy, they became richer and they could buy the products. And when they could buy the products, they were buying the products and they were also becoming unhealthy. So, so here is the situation that, you know, very healthy diet is a very, very inexpensive diet.
Jerzy, I think what I was referring to was more of a cultural phenomenon that, you know, it's people who seem to have the lower economic base have not learned to cook. You have the immigrants, yes, they're having their rice and beans and doing very well, but there's the poor seem to be inability to function on that level. You know, the kids are getting Lunchables in their lunch boxes with a can of Pepsi. You know, they're not making sandwich. They could make something a lot cheaper than Lunchables by putting a sandwich together on.
Yeah, and Sarge,
That's
just
why
to
we do
interrupt-
what we do. You see, that's why we have the happy body. That's why we need to talk about the around the happy body. That's why we need to tell the world that the happy body is there. And then we need to reach these people and help them to, you know, to choose the simple food, like cook, you know, the rice and beans and potatoes. It's actually delicious food, the best food on this planet. And there's nothing better up there. Nothing. You have a little bit veggies and everything what is made out of this vegetables and fruits and beans and rice and so on. All of it is worse food than this food. And
Yeah,
this food is the most inexpensive food. That in that place where the potato is as a potato, as a best food, it is just potato, and it's the most inexpensive food. When you create something, make something out of potato, everything becomes 10 times more expensive. And that is illogical. And that illogical message has to somehow break through. And that illogical message is the virtue here. The virtue is to eat potato and not something made out of that potato that is 10 times more expensive. It's illogical. And it happens to people. I simply boil potato, put some salt, and I enjoy the healthiest food that I can create from potato. And I know exactly, you see, we have to pass the message that this is the healthiest and the most delicious food that you can eat, boiled potato. This is it. And whatever you made out of it, you can only make it worse. You can, you know, take an apple and you can take apple chips and things and so on. All of it will be destructive, you know, actions that you will make that apple worse only. Nobody can make the apple better than apple is. And that message is not across. And this is the message that we are going to pass through the happy body to people. That is our message. Our message is that apple is in the best form, in the nature's form, and whatever you do to this apple, you can only make it worse. You cannot make it better. And that's it. That's the proverb. And we need to get to that proverb so we don't make something out of this apple and then we eat that apple.
I think Deborah was just saying, Jersey.
No, I agree totally, Jersey. And what I'm basically saying is that this requires some kind of education to say that, yes, a potato is good just by itself. You don't have to buy the big bag of frozen French fries. You know, you can exactly buy the apple, eat the apple. That used to be in our lunches when we were kids. You know, we just ate the whole food. My parents always had a garden. You know, we ate fresh vegetables. We didn't eat a lot of meat, but things have changed. And there's a disconnection for a lot of very poor people that they don't know how to get to the plain, simple food, which is why I think
that's why we need to get the happy body to them. If you get the happy body to them, then they will find the way. They will find the strength. They will find, you know, the cooking that is very simple and good and so on. That is exactly because the focus has to be on goodness, and that is only the focus needs to be. And once you really get to people, like I'm getting to people and teaching them how to cook, and that's not even cooking. This is a very simple, you know, potato onion soup, right? It's not like big cooking. But when you do it once, people do it over and over and over because it's just delicious food. It's really not much to teach when it comes to really great way of living. Not really much. The hardest is the hard choices and embrace the hard choices and create in the mind this capability of overriding the impulses to the wrong choice, like the choice of the, like you said, buying the French fries, right? And the bag of French fries that cost 10 times more than potatoes when you buy potatoes. And it's so illogical and so devastating to the poor family, because poor family pays 10 times more for the products than the family would pay. So logic is not delivered. And that is why we have to keep talking about this and passing the happy body to others, so they take the happy body, they read through, they listen to that, and then they can building that the inner strength to actually do what is good for them. You buy beans and you buy rice, it's the cheapest form you can buy.
Okay, but let's say these people are comparing pasta and broccoli.
No,
That's
yeah,
what
exactly. It's a wrong comparison. If you compare the pasta and let's say flour, the flour is the cheapest form. So, you know, if you compare rice and rice cake, that would be the way to compare. And then you will see how cheap it is. You can buy 25 pounds of beans, the bag of beans, for very cheap. And you can have it for 1 month of eating. It's incredible source of food, like beans and rice and potatoes. It's very, very inexpensive. If you add a little bit veggies to that, you have the best eating you can imagine.
No, I agree totally with Jersey, but it's just these people are very affected by marketing, by the way grocery stores are laid out, and they really just, they don't make they make the easy choices. They don't make the hard choices because they don't understand.
Exactly, but that's the mental situation. That's why it's, and no plan. So that's why the happy body. That's why I talk to these people about the happy body, and then they will find a way through. So, you know, it's just, if you just talk to people that is better this or that, then you're making certain judgments. So it's not really good. But if you talk the happy body, then you can really expose them to the philosophy behind it, that they can look into that, and that they can look, because it's the whole system is already about the cooking, about eating good food. The system is all about moving the right way and creating this possibility for improving your body from the physical point of view. It's already there. So the system is there. And then exposing, you know, to the family, to the system, that would be the way to go. As soon as you get entangled that people are poor and they have bad choices and so on, you will end up in the no ending talk. But when you expose to people the happy body to poor people, then you have somewhere where you can begin.
Hey, Jersey, it's Margaret in Park City. I think one of the real powerful messages of the happy body is to take a look at what our virtues are. And they're not based on the foods we're throwing in our grocery cart or the designer bags we're throwing over our arms, right? It's how we're living our life. And so many people, when they don't feel good about themselves, they look for this external validation of what they will make, that will make them feel better, right? And Happy Body starts training you to go, no, you've got what you need to make you feel better. You just need to strengthen that muscle, be it your actual muscles or your mental muscle.
Right. Yes, and you know, that's why the virtues, right, and developing those virtues and going that direction, because if you go the direction of you know, complaining and seeing that people are poor and making bad choices and so on, how are you going to go? You know, there is no end of that. But there is end with the happy body. You start the happy body and you start really reversing, because the happy body is the existentialism system, and that system is really toward better living, toward goodness. And because of that, it is going to be directed toward, cooking versus buying products, because that's the virtue. And the virtue works that way. And of course, virtue is a hard choice. But, when people are poor, that is how to really, tell them that there is a good thing up there that they can start, and they actually, with the little money, they can create very healthy way of living.
And to accept responsibility. To say,
it will happen, right? It will happen on the way.
I mean, but it's like, I can look at the points in my own life where it's like, hell, I don't want to be responsible for this. It didn't change the reality, but I could come up some really good excuses, right? So anyway.
Like anybody, right? Well, we have, the fatalist is very, is a trickster, you can, do really great things, how to turn ourselves from being good, right? And turn ourselves to be really bad. And it's a really great thing. In Polish, Martin, you will know, in Polish, we have a different way of saying about fire. There is a fire, and there's pożar. And pożar is something that is really fast and powerful spread of flames, and it's called pożar. The Polish word for that is that in the fire department in America, we don't have that word. We have the fire, right? But we don't, in Polish, we have also ogień. Ogień is kind of like a fire, like a fireplace, but it's
like a flame.
Different word, right? It's a flame, but we don't use it in this way. But the pożar is something like the fire spreads very fast, and the fire department is rushing to, it's pożar. It's the only one word that actually fits that. But also that word as a metaphor is used for people that eat very fast. Say, consume the food, that pożar, something, right? Because that's the consuming something very fast. So pożar is something that, fire consumes very fast everything around, but also a human being can consume that and very fast. I talked to you about the consumer, right, and consuming. And how this word actually interesting relates in Polish.
Jerzy, I've seen you eat like that.
Yes, exactly. that I would eat like that. And that's why I eat very fast. And that is why I need the happy body, you see? Because I eat very fast, and I can eat very fast a lot of more than I need. So I needed the happy body to tell me how much I should put on a plate, and that is enough, and it's healthy and good. Most important is the factor that that we Americans, I found myself in America. Americans do fast things and then eating fast, and I remember Michael Pollan was finishing the book, one of the books, and then in that book he said, well, we don't really, the French eating is not a solution for our overeating, and neither the Japanese, when they have this sensitivity that tells them when actually to stop eating. And so what is the solution? And the solution is exactly in the happy body, because the happy body is a knowing diet. It means Americans eat fast and they need the knowing, and I need that knowing. And that tells me exactly. And when I know that that's what I am American, I eat fast, and I will not eat slowly, and I will not stop when I'm 80% full. And that is the exactly solution for Americans. The happy body is that solution.
thing that's ever worked for me.
What is it?
It's the only thing that's ever worked for me is the Happy Body program. It took a while to adjust to it, but it was a perfect fit because like you, I will eat a lot of food very quickly. And
oh, you're a fast eater too.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm faster. I'm faster.
That's why it worked, right?
I'm faster. I'm faster. I used to watch, well, really, we had these competitions when I was in high school and to see who could eat the fastest, and I won every time.
You know, I had this. All right, guys. Well, it was fun today. So that is why the major approach.
What's the homework?
It is fun. All right, that's the homework now. We'll go over the virtue tomorrow. Failure and forgiveness. You will write a sentence or two. I think.
Okay.
And from the I got this. Chapter 8. Which is responsibility. That's funny. Everything works somehow perfectly, right? Responsibility. We are made wise not by the recollections of our past, but by the responsibility for our future. George Bernard Shaw. Look at how beautiful this thing is, right?
Yeah,
so somebody today asked about the people, about these mentors and so on. Here you have it. You know, people understood those things, 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and so on, so on. We fail on creating that possibility in our mind. We are somehow not really creating the master within. We fail constantly over and over. I was just thinking why we are really failing on it. This is my approach here, not to fail, to create a person that is capable, and it is that master that really happens. The wisdom happens because, and this is, also the way that I'm saying the past is not interesting, and then how beautifully this thing is, aligned with what Amy experienced, right? We are made wise not by the recollections of our past, but by the responsibility for our future. Right now, what we do now, that what is the future, right? In the present moment. Responsibility for that present moment.
I also just found another really good quote by him that says, life isn't about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself.
Right. Yes, yes. And that creating is the hard choice, you see. The hard choice is life, is that creating yourself, because creating yourself and also creating yourself better, it means you're good, right? And that is always a hard choice because the goodness is really improvement, and improvement requires effort, and effort is energy, and it is always hard. All right, guys, it was fantastic. Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
And
bye-bye.
Probably now you know why we are doing on a daily basis.
Thank you. Awesome.
Awesome.
Bye. Thank you, Jersey. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jersey. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you are so comfortable up there, Abby.
Yeah, I like this little inner tribe. Bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Big
Thank
hug.
you,
Bye-bye.
Jersey.
Tired
Bye.
today.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Tired, Jersey. I'm so tired.
Oh, you ready for a nap?
Yeah.
I'm ready for my nap.
Oh yeah, it's your nap time. And
Yeah,
then
it's my nap time. I will eat soup and go to bed.
I finally made some potato onion soup and I put it in the freezer, so I'm gonna go try it. I'm excited.
My best soup. I can eat over and over. Like, yeah, I ate this soup for the last, 3 years and I love it.
Well, if you do dairy, I was telling people of my favorite potato comfort food. Just potato, a cup or more of plain Greek thick yogurt,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of salt, and some carrots and broccoli, and you mash it all together.
Awesome. Isn't it?
Yeah!
And
I ate it like 5 days last week for
and
dinner.
that is the beautiful nature, right?
Yeah.
Very cheap too.
Super cheap and super comforting.
That's it. And super good food, healthy, everything together. Amazing.
I know.
And why not?
Why not? And you can just keep eating from one big bowl and put it back in the fridge and then pull it back out. You never even have to dirty more bowls.
Awesome. The Happy Body is awesome.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna go work out with Leslie later. Pretty soon we'll be independent, but right now we're feeding.
Hey, having fun together.
Yeah.
You are independent, but having fun together. That's a different story.
That's true. She's a good chick. It's all working out.
Yeah, it is not, independent doesn't mean alone.
Oh.
Independent doesn't mean alone. You can be with, all the others and so on, but you're enjoying, you're still independent. You're not dependent on others.
Yeah, maybe you talk more about that.
Oh yeah, let's start with this and tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Love to everybody.
All right.
Okay. Bye, Henry.
Bye-bye.